Welcome to the Journey of a Man with your host, Dre Jordan. I have a really special guest with me today. The Journey of a Man podcast is for men to talk about our journey in life, which ultimately determines who we are or will become. The obstacles we face are real and often will derail us from our desired destinations. This podcast gives us a platform to express ourselves about the journey we have experienced, our upbringing, relationship, marriages, fatherhood, careers, finances, spirituality, divorce, and co parenting. Hopefully, bridging our support for one another while respecting and uplifting other men and women. The trajectory for men must change, and together we can create a pathway to success. My next guest, Andre Smokey Lee, a native Washingtonian, grew up in Northeast DC in a two-bedroom apartment off Queens Chapel Road with three brothers, Reginald, Kenny, and Robert Big Man, and one sister, Robin Nat. He was instrumental navigating young boys through sports, coaching, and mentoring at the number 12 Boys Club, Taft Junior High, and Woodridge Warriors youth organizations. He was educated in the DC public school system, attending Langdon Elementary, Taft Junior High, and graduated from McKinley Tech Senior High School in 1975 before attending Hampton University. Smokey has always been involved with community activism as a Ward 5 constituent service rep for Councilman Harry Thomas Sr. and was a Ward 5 ombudsman for the late Marion Barry Jr. He also worked with the Office of Cable Television, Film, Music, and Entertainment as a program support specialist before retiring from the DC government after 25 years of service. Smokey is currently working as Director of Community Engagement at Brookland Manor, formerly known as Brentwood Apartments in DC. Smokey has had some ups and downs in life and says, the same streets I ran are the same streets I serve today. I've been truly blessed to see this full circle come to life. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Smokey assisted launching a food ministry called Feed My People Ministry through partnership with Park Christian Church under the leadership of Pastor Marvin Owens Jr. on the third Sunday of each month, distributing groceries, canned goods, bread, chicken, produce, etc. Smokey continues today to mentor boys and girls as president of the Senator Satchel Paige Baseball League. Bruh,
Yes, sir.
I just want to thank you, man. You're doing so much for the community, man. Just like you said, same streets that you ran, the same streets that you're serving today. And I must say you're doing a great job. Before we begin, man, I just want to give you a round of applause. That's for sure. I want to give you a round of applause, bro, because what you have done, not for the men of my age when we were coming up, you were such an instrumental figure to us. And believe it or not, through sports, man, we've learned how to navigate life, being leaders, you know. And back then, you guys had the permission to knock us in our head because our parents knew you was gonna get us right, right? That's one thing that we're missing today because we have so many rules, laws, and regulations in place that if the parent felt some kind of way, they can charge you with some type of charge, abuse charge, so forth and so on. And we have so many young boys nowadays smoke carrying guns.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty difficult to get to our young men nowadays. I oftentimes see, and I say this on every podcast, is that it my heart aches when I see young men walking with their pants down below their knees. Why they even have pants on? And
Yes.
when I see men taking out, or young boys or men, even men nowadays taking women out, they not even opening the car door or the door for them to get in or pulling out the chair. Chivalry is gone to the wayside for most of this
Well,
young men
yeah.
nowadays. So I just want to, man, I know you're doing great things. I've been following you. Again, I want to give you your flowers while you're above ground, man. I want to give you your recognition. You know, all too often we see our mentors and we don't really catch up with them until, you know, we find out they have passed or, you know, they're in a hospital or something like that. So I wanted to reach out to you, brother, because you always been a good big brother to me. You know, I always remember back in the days, man, when you helped navigate, you know, the guys like myself, Curtis and winos of the world, you know,
Oh
Eddie
my
Nesbitt
God, man.
and everybody, you know, just kind of helped us to become the men we are today. RIP for wino. You know, unfortunately, that's the way life takes us sometimes. Sometimes, you know, we got our friends who passed before us. You know,
Yeah,
we just got to prepare ourselves to get there. Um, so with that being said, man, I just want to just take us through your life, man, and your trajectories, and then we'll get into the things that you're doing nowadays to give back, because there's so much that you're doing, brother, that you're doing to give back to the communities, especially during this pandemic. You know, helping people who aren't getting food on the table for their kids. You know, you have families who have lost their jobs. You know, it's just people just losing hope nowadays. But what you guys doing with that ministry, man, is amazing. So if you don't mind, big brother, take us on. You got the stand.
man, Dre. First of all, I want to first give honor, praise, and the glory to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I
Amen.
start that in everything that I do now,
Mm,
because without Him, I can't do nothing. I can't do
absolutely.
nothing. And
Mm-hmm.
then I want to thank you, Dre, for having me on your podcast, man. You know, I always followed your podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, man, when you gonna have me? No, no, no. I just loved your what you're doing.
Thank
Because just like you said, you looked at us, and if I didn't lead the right way, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing now.
you. Right.
Because you got some so-called leaders, wannabe leaders that don't lead in the right way,
Mm-hmm.
and hey, we're gonna get to my part in my story, that I I'm not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
we're gonna get there, but I've
Mm-hmm.
never done anything to harm anyone.
Right.
And everybody knew of me as a fun type person. Uh, so, you know, that's how I was. So I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
get right. I'm gonna start in elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Langdon Elementary, right down the street, up the hill from where I live at
Mm-hmm.
2432 Queens Chapel Road, right there on the corner,
Mm-hmm.
the apartment building on the corner. We lived upstairs, and Jesse Seegers and Leon Seegers lived downstairs, and Davis, William and Dave Davis, and Walter Davis,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Haywood Blyther,
Mm-hmm.
Antonio, and all of them, man. We all grew up in that, they called it the ghetto. That's what it was. We all were right there in that
Mm-hmm.
little square. And
Mm-hmm.
and we, you know, was no back then it was no, hey man, I'm mad. Yeah, okay. Let's go on out to the back and
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and knuckle it out. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And,
Make up
and
afterwards.
yeah,
Mhm.
whoever won, hey, man, we hug each other
Right,
and move on.
right.
Parents took care of the kids in the neighborhood.
Mhm.
My mother and father used to tell them, if they're doing something wrong out there, you whoop them, bring them to me, and I'm gonna whoop them too.
Exactly, exactly.
And it wasn't like well she told or he told a story on me and not well you got that whooping, you can get another one too. Okay.
Mhm, mhm.
So that's how it was, man. That's how it was. We didn't have these turf wars and all of this. And it's really over little of nothing.
Right. Taking each other's lives.
Taking a life now. I guess they look at these cartoons or these movies or so and think the life coming back. It's not coming back. It's so many people you hurt in that situation. It's so many people. I also want to say happy Black holiday.
Black History Month.
Black History Month. Because when I was coming up, and I wanted to tell this story too, Dre. There wasn't the swimming pool. When I was coming up there, the swimming pool had not been built yet. It was a sprinkler system down there where the swimming pool is.
Langdon Park?
Yeah, it was a sprinkler system, and we used to run through the sprinklers. And that was our swimming pool. Okay. One day, and we would walk to the swimming pool or the sprinkler system with no shoes on. And we're talking Queens Chapel Road, coming on up, with no shoes on, because your parents said the little Chuck Taylors that you had, they cost $9.99. Back then, $9.99 was a lot of damn money.
It was.
And you're not going to lose them shoes out there, or let somebody take them shoes from you out there, okay?
Right.
So I saw this water fountain, and it had white only on it. And I'm like, when I went home, I asked my mother, what's that? I mean, she told me. Well, back when I was coming up, we had a water fountain, and the white people had a water fountain. And we couldn't drink at that water fountain. I said, wow, Mom, because I drunk at it. I ain't gonna get in no trouble, am I? You know? But it had been left, the signage had been left there. And, we've come a long way, but we got to stop what we're doing to each other.
Right.
We got to stop what we're doing to each other. So that my elementary days, man, were in the neighborhood with, if them lights and people, you see this on these comedy TV shows, if the street lights come on and you're not in that house, well, you might well, what's happening.
Right.
You know what's happening.
You might as well prepare for that whooping.
Yes, sir. And see, they don't, and I don't know, maybe this should happen now, but my parents didn't whoop their clothes. Oh, no. Oh, you got to come on up out of them.
Yeah, strip on down. Let me see that hand pop.
Yeah, you got to come on up out of them, man. And I'm not going to whoop something I done paid for. Right. It was really, really tough times, but good times.
Right. Very good times.
You know what I'm saying? Tough times, but good times, man. Because everybody knew everybody, Dre. Yeah. I'm down there on that end, Liner Park on that end, Mills Avenue and Rhode Island and all of that. And everybody knew everybody.
Right.
It was only one school you went to, Taft.
Man, that was back then. That's what you talk about, a village. Everybody.
It's a village.
Yeah. Everybody.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, look, I'm gonna just say this. It wasn't until, I want to say, about 4 years ago, because I always knew you as Smokey, right? That Damon, right?
My man.
Yeah, Damon says, Andre, man, your man, Andre Lee, he says, man, he used to raise you. I was like, Andre Lee? Oh, Andre Lee. Man, I had to search around, and I saw it. I said, are you talking about Smokey? He said, yeah, Andre Lee. I said, man, I don't know him by that name. Who was that?
Yeah, that's you right. You right, man. People, and I tell people today, now this is a true bill here. This is a true bill. I done worked for just about every mayor, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not one of those mayors, you know, when we in professional settings or something
Mm-hmm.
like that,
Mm-hmm.
will call me Andre, right?
Mm-hmm.
But all of them call me Smoke.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All of them call me Smoke. And I look, I don't regret anything that I've ever done in my life because I know I haven't done anything to detrimentally harm anyone.
Right.
Okay. Harm myself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, we're gonna get to that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I mean, if you call me Andre, I might start turning around. Who else in here named
Right.
Andre?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, because I'm so used to since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody
Mm-hmm.
called me Smoke, man.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
know,
man.
you know.
That's what
So
we that's what we knew you as, man, down there when we were growing up. Smoke.
yeah,
Smoke, smoke, man. You
that's
said
right.
Andre. I said, who the hell is Andre? I said, you know, my name Andre. I was like, oh, Andre,
You would
man.
have known who Andre. I know
I would
Andre.
have. I would
Yeah,
have. But
yes.
everybody down there knew you as Smoke. I've never, not once heard anybody call you Andre.
And if you bring that name up to people that we grew up with, like
Mm-hmm.
the White Lowry and all of them,
Mm-hmm.
they probably say the same thing. Andre,
Mm-hmm.
who are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Man.
man, I haven't seen the twins, man, in a long time. The Lowry brothers,
Hmm.
uh, down on Evox.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I haven't seen them in a while, man. You know,
Me neither, man. Me neither.
yeah, yeah,
It's
man.
been since this pandemic has really shut us down, man. But if
Oh
you don't
man,
mind, go ahead, take us through the McKinley days, man, and
yeah,
up to because
yep, yep,
I know you had several trajectories that changed your life, man, that drew you closer to God. You know,
yes,
that's
yes,
what he does. You know, through our life experiences, that's what he does. He draws us closer to him. He already know what obstacles we're gonna face. But what happens
exactly.
is he want to see what we're gonna do with those obstacles, right?
Yes,
How we're
yes,
going to incorporate him as far as those obstacles are concerned. And because we are continuously evolving, right?
yeah,
Nobody's perfect for
yeah.
sure. Well, go ahead, brother.
So I'm gonna go through Taft real quick
Hmm.
because that was just junior high school, and
Hmm.
you know, Mr. Howe, Principal
Hmm.
Howe,
Beanie
Mr.
Howe.
Mims, yeah,
Hmm.
James Howe. You
Hmm.
know, now let me tell you something. That man taught me a lot, man.
Hmm.
Man, Mr. Howe used to whoop our butt too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
My
he
dad
gets
and Mr.
in.
Howard was like that.
Yeah, yeah. Your dad and Mr. Howe, yeah, sure were.
Hmm.
And you know, you had Mr. Mims. You
Hmm.
Dre, I don't know if you're old enough to remember Mr. Mims had the store on Rhode Island Avenue, the shoe store, Nunn Bush. Yeah, that was way back there, man. But
Yeah, that was a little bit
yeah,
before my time, big brother.
but and then you know, I gotta mention, and I know you know Simeon.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
R.I.P. Big brother
That was my
Simeon. Yeah.
yes indeed. That was my best
Hmm.
friend there, man.
Hmm.
We I'm gonna tell you something, man. We started coaching, him and I, at the age of 15 years old.
Mm.
We started coaching
Hmm.
together. You know,
Hmm.
we coached the 75-pound
Hmm.
football team down
Hmm.
at Woodridge, and me and him. And I was still playing baseball. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So I stopped coaching to finish playing, you know, baseball. I was going all over the country playing baseball, you know.
Hmm.
Simeon kept coaching. And I came back, and that's how I got to the Little League thing.
Hmm.
But at McKinley, I was playing baseball and JV football. Mr. Saunders, right, and Mr. Kennedy. Okay, and so those days, Simple City. I know you remember Simple City, that hallway. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The plaza. Yeah. So, you're getting a little where you kind of smell yourself when you get in high school, and all the little ladies running around, and you want to, and I was, a good athlete, playing at baseball, and so you had what they call season girls and all that good stuff, and so you get out there and it starts easy, starts with a little alcohol, then you mix it on up with a little weed, but the weed we was doing back then ain't no loud and all that old stuff they got now.
Ain't nothing making you jump off a bridge.
Oh no. We didn't get to that point until they called it lovely.
Right.
Yeah, we didn't get to that point until then. But and then getting out there, hanging out in the street and seeing yourself, getting ready to do some things that you really don't want to do. And by having a strong net family, my parents said, "Oh, you going to school? Now we ain't got no money, so you better get you a scholarship." But you got to get up out of here. You're going to get a job or you're going to go to school. It's going to be one or the other. So, and it was no problem for me getting a job or anything, but I was, and Dre, a lot of people will say, man, because I asked this question a lot to people. What do you think I got my scholarship in? And they would say, baseball. Why? Yeah, come on, man. We you played baseball. But that ain't what I got my scholarship in. I got my scholarship in swimming and diving.
Is that right?
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
I got scholarship at Hampton for swimming and diving. And this is a true bill here. My last year of high school at McKinley, I had, and I'm the first person to ever do this. So it's a history lesson too. I had to take one class at H.D. Woodson in order to swim, because H.D. Woodson had a swimming pool. McKinley didn't.
Right.
And they had a swim team, right? So, Dre, you know how we used to do at the swimming pool on the diving boards and all that good stuff. So my thing was diving, and man, they H.D. Woodson would go up to Friendship in St. Albans. I can never forget it, man. We went up to St. Albans, and them folks up there, they've been doing the practicing and all
pools
that,
and everything.
The pools and all that good stuff, right? One thing about H.D. Woodson, they had Bruce Bradford, who had the swim team. And we used to get up 5 o'clock in the morning, man, and go into that cold pool. You know what I'm saying? And he taught very well, Man, them people up there was peed off, Dre, when I walked out there with that first place trophy.
I bet they were. St. Albans? What the
Yes,
upper north?
indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So I got a scholarship for swimming and diving at Hampton Institute then. And now it's the university. And I tell people, I know, you might hurt your feeling, Dre, but that's the real HU.
That's the real HU, huh?
So
don't tell nobody from Howard that.
I know. I always do, man. I always do, man. And Yeah, they be like, oh man, y'all wasn't even a university then. You know, they right about that one. But so coming back home, I did 2 years at Hampton. Bust my eardrum doing a 3.5 with a full twist, right? And I got lost in the twist and bust my eardrum, and I was never right as far as wanting to dive anymore. You know, first of all, that when you see blood, and it was like, nah, I don't think this is where I'm cut up. And I couldn't play baseball because I was on a swimming and diving scholarship. So I came on back home, and boy, you can leave this area for a minute, and when you come back, this area changes just that fast. Just that fast. They had all cocaine and all this stuff out. Back we were smoking weed and stuff like that. But now they got cocaine out here. You know what I'm saying? And it was the moving thing on the crack cocaine was the moving thing in our neighborhood and everything. So, I'm gonna dip and dive with that and got out there, because it was not only out there, it was in my household, and getting there readily. So, getting out there, like I said, never did anything to hurt anybody, and everybody knows that. But just got out there on the street, and I didn't want to hurt my family. And so I basically made myself homeless. You know what I'm saying? I would sneak back in the house to get something to eat, this, that, and the other, hang out all day. You know what I'm saying? Dre, I used to sleep in cars, abandoned cars. The post office on Rhode Island Avenue. It used to be a vacant apartment up over the post office. We'd go up in there, do our thing, sleep in there. Dre, I'm gonna tell you, man, you laying down on an empty floor, trash all over the place. You're seeing rats running across you, anybody that's there, and that's the type of life, though. I did not want to harm my family in the lifestyle that I was living. I would go to work too, Dre.
Functioning. You was a functioning.
Yeah. Well, I thought that's what it was. I keep a job for 2 paychecks, enough to get me what I needed. You know what I'm saying?
And that was it.
And yeah. So, but I had strong people around me. Harry Thomas Sr., he knew me when I was a little boy. And they got me off the street. They got me off the street. They said, look, this ain't, we don't know you like this. We don't know you like this. So getting me off the street, though, and I tell the young folks this, that I try to mentor. If you're not ready, Dre, they spinning their wheels. Because you got to be a willing part of this.
Exactly.
You got to be a willing part. So I say that to say, yeah, I was out, trying to function and work. Dre, I done been in places, base houses, what we call them. And as soon as, and this ain't nothing but God. Ain't nothing but God. As soon as I walk out and start walking up the street, look behind me, They raiding the place.
Mm.
That ain't nothing but God telling me, this ain't where you need to be. This ain't your lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't what you cut up to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I said, I've tried dip and dab, got a job, trying to work the job. Look, Jay, because I don't work for the government no more. So, and I'm gonna tell the story anyway, because this is what it's all about. If you try to hide something, that means you trying to do something maybe later on.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to take the government car, go get me what I need.
Mm-hmm.
Park the government car around the corner from the base house.
Mm.
That's how bad it'll do you, man. It'll do you. So,
Absolutely.
And I tell these youngsters, man, don't tell me, man, you ain't been where I'm at. No. I can tell you some stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been there. Don't tell me about guns and all that, because I've been there too.
Mm-hmm.
Where guns been put in my face.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And by the grace of God, they didn't pull the trigger.
Right.
Well, I wouldn't be here talking to you. You know what I'm saying?
How about that?
Yeah, I played for one of the notorious, played baseball for one of the notorious streets in Washington, D.C. I played for Hanover Street,
Mm.
one of the best third basemen, around. And then I don't have to say it. A lot of people will tell you that, and so I readily had whatever I needed to get.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, to I don't want to say to get out of it, it took some time. It took, and God said, I'm gonna let you keep on bumping your head. But now you gotta remember, one time you bump your head may be the crucial time. And I said to myself, I was working with Councilman Harry Thomas, and he said, okay, I'm gonna let you go, because he wanted me to do something. And I'm gonna tell you, Dre, at this time I had got myself together as far as using. Okay, you heard me say using. So now I told you it was all in my family, all in my household, the drugs. So now I say, oh man, I'm cool. I don't use no more. I'm gonna make the money that I was using up. Now I'm gonna make the money. I'm gonna sell. Right? But I'm clean myself. I'm working, all good. But I want to stay on that side of the fence. I want to play 50-50. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I want to straddle that fence. So I say, oh yeah, okay. So one evening, I'm doing good. Everybody know. And so I say, I tell people this too. You always go with your first intuition. The first sign told me, I'm at home. Get a call about, okay, I'm gonna come on out. I'm gonna serve you. I'm gonna serve on my street, Brentwood Road. I served the person, and I'm riding down the street, and they sitting down at the end of Brentwood and Central, waiting for me, Dre. Now, true bill, I'm getting ready to go and work for Marion Barry at this time. I just got all my paperwork. He ready for me to be his Ward 5. ombudsman. I'm getting ready to go, and I just get jammed.
Mm.
But it's a good thing, Dre.
Mm.
It's a good thing. I mean, I got out of it. It wasn't enough on me. I only had 150 on me, and so they said, okay, look, I told them, hey, I'm getting ready to try to get this job, Judge, and whatever I need to do, you know. And the judge looked at me and said, okay, I'm gonna put you on probation. But if I see you back in here, I'm gonna give you the time that I'm supposed to giving you today, and whatever else come with what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Dre, I went up out of that. I never get it. I used to have to go to probation office on New York Avenue, right there. It's a building. It's not even. I don't even know if it's there anymore. By the market on New York Avenue, right there at the light. That was the U.S. Marshals or parole office, right? Probation office. I used to have to go there every day to take a urine and to tell the lady what I was doing and so on and so on. And that got me, like I said, God put things in your way to let you know that this ain't you. This really ain't you. So are you tired of bumping your head?
Yeah.
Right. Are you tired of bumping your head? And I was. And I was. And so, I started back to getting into the kids. I started working for the mayor in 1997. This happened in 96, and I started with the kids. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I've been with them since the time. Me and another good friend, Wayne Settles, nicknamed Toby, he had Satchel Paige out of Riggs LaSalle. Mm-hmm. And I had the senators up at Fort Lincoln. Mm-hmm. And man, baseball then, the team had left and everything. Baseball wasn't as popular as it is. And we were getting like 10, 12 kids apiece. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so, he said, and I joke with him all the time about this. I said, man, you the one that got me in all of this mess here, man. And then you gone, know. So he said, well, look, come on, Smoke. What we do, man, we merge, man, because he was right there at Riggs. I'm right there at Fort Lincoln. Let's merge. We can use both fields and get these kids. And, long story short, what we did, we merged, man. And right now, Dre, we have over 200 kids, boys and girls. I opened up registration the first. Mm-hmm. And so far, it's already been 20 plus. And this year, it'll be the first year that I'm going to do girls softball from the ages of 8 to 14. Mm-hmm. And Dre, I'm telling you, man, God, if you want to, get out of what's going on, and believe me, I know people are not religious in a sense, okay? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But you don't have to be. Mm-hmm. I tell you, I married Amanda Tootie. Mm-hmm. Tootie Wood, Jack Wood's sister, Pinky's sister, right? Mm-hmm. And I got two girls, 2 daughters by her, and they got 2 daughters. My 2 daughters are Sarita and Andrea, and they have 2 daughters. So God gonna get me any way you look at it, okay? They got 2 daughters, Jada and Ayana, right?
Mhm.
Man, so I always say, God, are you paying me back with all these women in my life?
What he trying to do? Look, he know that you need to help them navigate for sure.
Yes,
You
yes,
know, because they
indeed.
need to see the strong role model in the home, man, for sure. Um,
Absolutely,
mm-hmm,
absolutely, Dre.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Of what
You
a
know,
man really represents. That's for sure.
that's right, that's right,
How to treat him, how to pull a chair out, how to,
that's right.
my
And,
daughter's
and you
always.
said that, Dre. You said that in the first part of the podcast, where you said guys don't even open the door for a woman. Hold it. They don't even know this. Ava, Dre, you don't ever let your lady walk on the side of the street that the cars are coming.
Right, right,
My father
absolutely.
taught me, if a car or whatever incident may happen, you push your lady to the side.
Mm-hmm,
That's just
mm-hmm.
being a man.
Yeah, nah, they don't have it, man. Look, real quick, let me just say this. Like my previous interview that I had, Mike Barnes, he and I were chopping it up real
Yes, I
good.
saw that.
And one thing we said, man, is that the unfortunate thing is that the explosion of the drug epidemic back then is still affecting us nowadays because now we
Yes.
have the grandmothers who raise the daughters or the sons that's raising their sons and daughters with the same mentality, unfortunately. Uh,
Absolutely.
and we have to break that generational curse for sure when it comes to that. So, and one thing I try to do is when I talk to the individuals that I interview is ask them, what can we do to help change the trajectory of these young boys? You doing it already because you are reaching them when they are young.
Yes.
They are
Yes.
very impressionable, right?
Yes.
It's kind of hard to change a 20-year-old 15, 20, 25. It's hard, but it can be done. But
And
if
what
we
can be
get
done?
them, oh yeah, but if we get them early, if we get them early, because the unfortunate thing is that most of these families are broken, right? They have
Yes.
the mothers raising the kids or the fathers raising the kid, don't have the mother. You need both parents. Even if you're
Yes.
not together, we got to be mature enough to say, we're going to look out for our kids. We're going to make sure they have what they need. The unfortunate thing is that we have, when they break up, the father's going this way, the mother's going this way, right? And they don't see that male, female role model that they need to see in
Yeah.
spite of what you're going through. But
Yeah.
you're doing a great job because that's all I see, right? Is that how you're mentoring these young kids, just like you said, the age range of 4 to 12 or 13. Man, let me tell you something. You get them early, it'll
You
make
can
a
you
big
can
difference.
put that's right. They don't
Hmm.
their mind look, their mind, Dre, at that age has not formed.
Hmm. Hmm.
You can form something in their minds. Go back to what I first said. Some people are not real leaders.
Hmm.
If you're a real leader, you talk to that young kid. I remember, Dre, that I had one little young boy that was just, buck wild, as we want to say,
Hmm.
and but could play. Dre, he could play, man.
Hmm.
So I mentored him because it was just his mother, and
Hmm.
his dad was in the street. I don't put no shade to that because I was there too.
Hmm.
Hopefully, he's gotten himself together now. But the boy's mom was saying to me, I love what you're doing with my son.
Hmm.
You take him and you bring him home. Because
Hmm.
I know all you got to do is walk home and get with your peers, and you may not make it home.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
My thing is you got to meet these kids, and this goes to what you said, Dre, about how do we get to these kids now? every meeting that I go to, because I'm doing community engagement work at Brentwood, where I ran the streets at. So, and every meeting that I go to with the people I work with, Mid-City Development, I tell them, you want me to get with these kids and do the things we need to do to save a community, we got to meet them where they at, Dre. We got to meet them where they at.
Right.
These kids are tired of people telling them and ain't listening to them. Yeah, we got to start listening to them. Okay, they love the go-go. I love it too, okay? And that's what y'all love. But hold on now. We can party, but we got to party with a purpose. So we can do the go-go, but I'm going to have the DOES truck up here so you can get jobs too. I'm going to have the drug people up here so you can get off for whatever you want. I'm going to have some counselors here to talk to you. I'm going to have some sisters up here to talk to the sisters that are out here in the street. I didn't do 25 years of government not to have government partners. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And all my government partners are already on board with me. All we doing is waiting for this pandemic to open up. And I'm from the show me state, okay? Right. Washington, D.C. You better show what you're doing in Washington, D.C., or you're going to not be who they can look up to.
Right. Hold them accountable for sure. That's one thing about this podcast, Smoke, is that I'm having individuals on, selective individuals on, because that's what I would like to do. When this pandemic is over, we can go into the communities. We can go into the schools. We can go into the prisons. We can go into, different places, man. Just kind of impart some of this wisdom that we have now. We're over 50, 60 years old now. We have a little bit something we can impart upon you. We can give you this so that you can thrive in life. Now, you use it as you will, right? However you will. But just we've gone through it. We can tell you. We can tell you what you're gonna run into. We can tell you the obstacles you're gonna face once you run into it. Yeah. So why run into it? Right?
Why run into it? That's right.
Right. Run into it. But no, you're doing a great job, man, as far as the community service, man. I see how you're out there feeding families, man. Families who just don't have food on the table, man. That's amazing. And the food is just skyrocketing now.
Yes.
I go to the grocery store now, man. I'm spending $200 easily. And I'm saying,
and you ain't got but 2 bags.
Right. Right.
You got 2 bags.
Right. So but yeah, man, I take my hat off to you, brother. Like I said, I wanted to salute you.
Thank you, brother.
For what you've done for people like my age, the guys in my age. We all can look back and say, yeah, we all had obstacles in our lives. I don't know one man that haven't had an obstacle that has changed his trajectory in life. But the ultimate goal is to draw us closer to God. Right?
That's the ultimate goal, man. I want to just hop on this about the food ministry, Dre, and how it started. So I was still working at the time before the pandemic. We knew what the pandemic had already been here because we had some guy in there that didn't let us know, until late, in the White House that didn't let us know until late, So I was still out, and what my job was to social media, because I was working at cable television at the time, and do still shots with the mayor, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? So the mayor said, I don't want them out here no more because it's really detrimental now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we weren't wearing masks, nothing at this time.
Mm-hmm.
But then the masks and all of that started to come, right? So she said to my immediate supervisor, Angie Gates, I don't want them out here no more. That's when they went to teleworking, right? I want them to telework. Dre, me telework?
Right.
Me telework, Dre?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm a street guy, man. Probably
Right.
always will be,
Mm-hmm.
right? I did that, Dre, for like 2 weeks, man, maybe 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all I would do would have to give the stats, which is a big job. Give the stats. The mayor would give the stats. I would give it to my supervisor like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of my sponsors, his name is Robert Duff from Diamond Dream Foundation, right? He's been my sponsor, not just one of my sponsors. He's been my sponsor from day one, back in 1996 when I took over the team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Hey, man, I know the pandemic is going on, but I'm still going to sponsor your team. I know y'all not playing, but let's think of something we can do." He said, it was around, November, right? October, around there. He said, well, why don't we do some turkeys or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I said, because I'm thinking, he out here making jokes or something, you know what I'm saying, Dre?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I say, yeah, Bob, well, I mean, how you want to do that? He said, well, you come up with what you want to do. I said, okay. I started making me some calls. We started out with 100 baskets, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we would give them face masks, not the hospital face masks, because you couldn't get them. You remember when it first started, you couldn't get them.
Limited, yeah.
Limited.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I ran into our boy,
Damon.
Damon.
Mm-hmm.
And me and Damon been locked, stop from that day forward.
Yeah, that's my little brother, man.
Man, Dame had to go through all kind of things to get them, right? The mask, the cloth mask. And see, like we said, the cloth mask wasn't even out yet. Wasn't even out yet. And we were designing them, hooking them up. My man said, okay, we'll do that. We'll feed them, we'll give them PPE and all of that. So that's how it started, Dre. And then my church said, do it here. You can do it here.
Wow.
Because I needed a place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I ain't hopping corners from corners, you know?
Right.
Dre, I never knew how much food is needed in this city. Dre, you would never, come on now, we're the nation's capital.
Right. Right. But this is the thing, bro. Just realize how much food we throw away.
Yes.
Right. The food that we throw away is amazing. I mean,
it's amazing.
Good food, but you're throwing it away. Why? Because you're not using that thing. Why not give it to charity? Why not feed the homeless? Why not do these type of things? This is what I've been talking about. And a big shout out to Park Christian Church for sure for allowing you to use their church.
Yeah.
For sure.
Michigan Park Christian Church. Yep.
Right. So, without a doubt, brother. But I appreciate you coming on, Smoke. I really do,
Dre,
man. Sharing your story with me, man, because I'm telling you, I have quite a few people, man, who have called me and said thank you because they either will show it to their sons or they will show it to their daughters, right?
man.
Just to kind of just kind of give them some insight that, they're not in this struggle alone.
Nope.
It just reach out and call and touch somebody, get in touch with somebody, just like you said, or get counseling, get something to help you navigate the hurdles that we're gonna eventually face, because they're bound to come for sure.
They bound to come.
Yep,
Yes,
they bound
sir.
to come.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
But I
Dre, I
appreciate you
love
coming
you,
on.
man. I
I
love
love
you,
you too,
man.
big brother. I love you too,
Okay.
man. And you've always been there for me, man. And I appreciate you accepting my invite for sure and sharing your story, man. Real quick, I got a guest that's coming on February the
Yes.
17th, Mitch Creedle, investigator, a detective that man has a amazing story, man, to share. And he's doing amazing things in the community, giving back to the community as well. So,
Yeah.
but thank you, man. I appreciate it, big brother. Hold on for a second so we can chop it up. Hold on a minute.
Okay, now.